Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews. And today it is an honor to have Paul Wandtke, ex-drummer of Trivium. We're going to be talking about how crappy he got done on that deal. And Mike Petrasek, vocalist of Bethlem. And these guys got some new tracks out, new band. I got to say this right now. If you haven't got to check out these two tracks, and I know I'm pronouncing the new single incorrect, like I told you, I'd screw something up, guys. Bereft. This is awesome. I like your vocals on this, Mike, and I'm going to say it right now. If you close your eyes and you listen, you hear a little Corey Taylor in his vocals. So there you go, man.
Oh, that's cool. Cool. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Bedlam. How did this come together, and when is this album coming out?
Well, I got fired from Trivium, and I just, I wanted this for me to be as organic as possible because I've been doing so many work for hire things that I was just like kind of fed up. And I called the three dudes that I knew from, since we were babies to put a band together. Mm-hmm. And ironically, it's the same band name that we had when we were kids. So that's, we've known each other for over 20 years. Kind of, we got some roots with this. Yeah, it was cool. Just, I've been friends with Paul, like he just said. We've been friends forever, all of us. And, saw the invite. They were looking for a singer for Bethlem, and back when we were kids and they were doing it, I was kind of watching from a fan's perspective, like, it was solid. But so anyway, yeah, he said we're looking for a singer, and I kind of just was like, hey, I could sing, and kind of sent some demo, and it's kind of took off ever since, man.
What's impressed you guys the most about making this debut album, or is it even finished yet? If so, what's caught your eye or impressed you guys the most about it?
Well, so far, it's just like some people are labeling us as groove metal, and I just think, like, my personal opinion is that, like, it's pretty, like, there's, like, this raw energy to it, and I've never been more excited about anything I've ever done in my life. So, I mean, that's my personal take on this. So I'm really excited to share, our debut record. We don't have an actual name for it or an actual release, but we're shooting for potentially like September or August. Just to add on, like, I think that's one thing that kind of doesn't get relayed. I don't know if it comes off in the music, but I think what I really love about working with everybody is we all have, we all like rock and metal, but we all have our different influences all across the board. Like we always joke with guitarist Joey, he's, kind of like an 80s child. He has that 80s flair into it, and I'm a big fan of everything from extreme death metal to, pop and hip hop, and just, I think there's a lot of those different influences you hear in my vocals and guitar, and obviously Paul's drumming is human metronome, man. It's got its own style. So groove metal's cool, but I do like the added feature of like a progressive element.
It kind of bugs
the off key measures.
It kind of bugs me when bands come out like this and people's already putting them in these genres and things like that. I'm just like this, let it fall where it may, and you guys decide what style you are. You know what I'm saying? That's where it comes from.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, at this point, we can't really label ourselves. It's
right.
Way too early in the game, but we're really excited. Like Mike was saying, we do have a diverse background. Like myself, I'm really into grunge. Like I have like a Nirvana tribute that tours nationally that I sing for. But, I don't sing, I don't have a voice like Mike, so Mike's a singer for Bedlam, so. But yeah, we all have our own little backgrounds with this, so I think we're maybe on the cusp of, like, having our own sound. And, I think the two singles we released, there's not really any bands I think of right away like, oh, that sounds like this, other than, like, you kind of hear some of the influences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't. I mean, you got your own sound. That sticks out to me the most on this.
Thanks, man.
Your vocals are amazing, and I've said this even when Paul was in Trivium. I liked his drumming. I think he's a great drummer. So
thanks, man.
For both of you, any songs off this debut album that stand out more to you than any on it right now? If you can talk about it, possibly give us a little bit of insider, maybe.
We're working on this like kind of a ballad song called Bethlem, and I don't know, Mike. Do you want to say anything about that or no? yeah. Well, it's called Bethlem. It's it's cool because Paul and I are pretty much like the main writers. I do a lot of the as we were talking a couple weeks ago about writing the song. Well, there's 3 writers. Joey Brassel, he writes all the sick riffs, and then so it's like 3 counterparts.
Right. Yeah, but like on a lyrical kind of aspect, which obviously that's going to be my focus, is I like telling stories, and a lot of it's kind of personal. I like to hide things. So for me, Bethlem's a cool song, and in terms of the sound we've established, it's a little different. But my personal is I really like Bereft, and it's just not any taken off, but not on a level, but just like lyrically, every start of the word is a past tense term, and the chorus really focuses on not trying to be defined by your past, and it's really more of it's centered on past tense, which I think lyrically, the way it's written, I like the way it's kind of structured, so that's probably my personal
opinion about Mike's lyrics is like we're always butting heads, but in a good way, if you don't have that kind of camaraderie of butting heads when it comes to writing, then I don't think it's really a band,
Right.
But
right.
Mike comes in always with like this poetic approach, and I'm always like, dude, it's like, we're like trying to steal like Metallica fans, and like, and people, people gotta understand stuff. So sometimes I'm like, I hate to say it, sometimes I'm trying to like, just I'm trying to make a little bit more sense out of it. But this new single, Bereft, that was all Mike this time. I think it's really cool, man. It's not like the lyrics aren't very direct, except for like the choruses, obviously,
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, the writing process and recording process with this group. I know you guys have been together, since you were kids and everything, but does it gel a lot smoother, with you guys? Is it just, just like a niche and it works? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we buy like 230 racks of Busch Light or Coors Light, and we'll just like write a riff out. It's like blind faith, man. We just write on a couple riffs and we just put like tunes together,
Yeah.
So Mike comes in he's got all these lyrics, and then we kind of just like chew at them, and make it work.
Yeah, it's so cool how it's like kind of work. Like when we get together, there's a couple songs that come out of it. There's always something productive. We can do our own individual, but I think it gels. It's very natural, which is real cool.
Do you guys have a producer on this album just as of yet, or are you guys going to do it DIY?
We're doing it ourselves, and we launched our own production company called Siftus Productions, and we're producing our own stuff. And we just produced a single for a band that's on a label. I don't want to say it right now, but they're going to be on Octane soon. But yeah, we're just we're independent, and we're trying to stay independent as long as we can, because the biggest thing we want to avoid is having a label like own the rights to our name and our trademark and all that stuff.
Gives you more freedom too,
Well, yeah, at this point, yeah. I don't think a label will let us release a song called Bereft.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, I think, with the time that we're in right now with technology and just what's at our fingertips. There's certain things that, it'd be easier, but I think we're all kind of dedicated, and we all strongly believe in Bedlam and what it's about. So I think we have the minds to kind of push it ourselves at this point,
When you were let go from Trivium, Paul, did it take a little bit to get back into music? And if so, how much drive was this for you for Bedlam?
It was instantaneous. As soon as I got the word, I just reached out to Joey Brassel, our guitar player, and then I hit up Brian Ayer, and then Mike Petrasek. He actually contacted me via email, because it's been a while since we talked to each other. But yeah, dude, I just hit the ground running as soon as I got home. I did 150 shows with Trivium. It was a great experience. They blew up my name, like in like all these drummer magazines. So it was kind of like embarrassing at the same time, because it's like, why did you guys put all this effort into promoting me and then all of a sudden just fire me out of nowhere? So it's been very. The only inspirational aspect of it for me was every time I walked on that stage, every festival I did, like Grass Pop in Belgium or Louder Than Life or Rockin' the Range, every time I jumped on that stage, I was like, I want to be here one day on my own terms, something was telling me like, it was a great experience being with Trivium, but I really wanted to do it on my own terms. And I just think everything happens for a reason. I think, Bedlam's kind of special. Like, we just released 2 songs, but I think there's something a little different about it, So I'm pretty excited.
For both of you, how much growth musically have you seen yourselves go through and Bethlem go through up to possibly the release of this, or has it just been more personal growth as musicians for you both, or the band?
I think there's a lot of growth. I was going to make a joke about Mike selling his phrase, but we'll save that.
I was just going to say, dude.
We're going to save that story for later.
Yeah, I'll say personally, for me, it's been a huge, like, you know, you grow up, especially being musically, like we all, I think that's the one thing I love is that, you know, we'll write a guitar riff or a bass riff, and all of a sudden it's like, oh no, it should sound like this, and Joe can jump on drums, and he's awesome. You know, I can hold a beat. Obviously, I'm not as anywhere near Paul's level, but we're all musically inclined. But once you kind of jump in the backstage of everything and how it works, I've learned so much from, you know, how things operate and how even just small things like working on a click track. You know, there's some things that naturally as a musician you don't get used to until you actually jump in a studio and start doing it. But yeah, there's definitely some funny stories there that'll definitely be shared at some point.
Yeah. But yeah, we're definitely growing as a band, you know. We're just having a good time. We're really excited about releasing our first record. We do have label interest. You know, we can't say any names right now, but at the end of the day, we probably will most likely do an indie release unless we get like some killer deal that isn't 30/70 or 50/50, you know.
Right.
That's what a lot of labels are doing.
Come on,
So,
you got to tell me a good story about Mike. Come on, you can't leave me hanging like this. What's the deal?
I don't know, man.
No, overall, man, we're having an awesome time. Like, it's so cool. Like, we're, you know, close friends since we're kids, so we're really excited about this, man. You know.
Once this comes out and people start to listen to it, what do you hope that they take away from this album, guys?
Well, the biggest thing, from my point of view, is that we're a band that sounds, you know, it stands on its own. Like, you can't really pigeonhole us to a specific band, you know. So that's my greatest goal. And what do you think, Mike?
Well, I got 2 points on a personal aspect. As a songwriter and a performer, I want people to kind of listen to lyrics. You know, even as I mentioned earlier, influences of. I mean, I love like Pig Destroyer, and then I also love Sam Smith, and I get something on a lyrical aspect from them every time I listen to it. And you know, they always both say that they don't want people to listen to a song and kind of be told what the song's about. It's kind of interpretation, like reading a book. So on a personal level, I want, you know, somebody to take away and say, oh, this is about this subject or this, but it can literally just be an interpretation type of thing. And then just as a group, I strongly believe in that we stand out. You know, there's different elements of everything. You can hear that, and I want a badass sound, you know, that's definitely different that people really enjoy.
And as far as the band goes, like, this isn't a studio project. You know, we're from, you know, the reason why I'm doing music, like, I wouldn't even, you know, play drums for a band like Trivium or some other gigs I've done, like the Musical Rock of Ages, if it wasn't for meeting Joe Brassell's family. Like, I got into music heavily because I was jamming with the guy in Bethlem right now, Joey Brassell. Like, you know, so for me, this is really cool to like dig back into the root, you know, with my friends.
Right.
It's always better when you grow up with people and form a band. Yeah, I've seen a lot better formation, as I should say, a better likeness within the band. You know, everybody just feeds off each other so well, and they know each other, what they're going to do. So
yeah, exactly.
Once this goes out on tour, if you guys are going to plan on going on tour, whatever you want to do, what can fans expect from a show from you guys?
Well, we're not going to have backing track. A lot of bands do that. And we're just going to be like, you know, we're just going to be raw, kick-ass live act, man. Like the drum parts that we're writing, I hope, are going to make people get off their ass and start some pits, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think when you watch the music video that we just released for Bereft, when you watch the video, like, you know, some things behind the scene that you don't really see is like I broke my microphone stand in half that I've had forever, man. It was a bummer, but I broke the thing in half. Just, you know, he said, I want raw energy. I want, you know, it was awesome working with the director, Paul, and he's like, yeah, just raw energy. And I mean, we jumped around, and at the end of the shoot, I mean, we were all laying down, just, we put everything into it, and I think that's how we're going to be doing our shows. Is every single night's going to be a full raw energy, and it's going to be kick-ass.
We're living in the digital era of recording albums and social media and things like that. Do you guys like this era that we're in right now to get music out a lot quicker and easier? What's your guys' take on it?
Well, we won't be able to do what we're doing right now. We're basically doing the damage of what a major label can do on our own right now. You know, like even like the way this interview was scheduled was just like what? It's like via email.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Email first and Skype. Yeah.
So I mean, there's definitely I think it's both hurting and excelling the industry. So I mean, obviously it's hard to sell a lot of albums these days, but if you're a new up and coming band, it's easier to get a new fan base.
Yeah, and social media helps out a whole lot because if we're witnessing this style of era that we're in right now, you guys know just as well as I do, you have to take flyer and post it everywhere, word of mouth, and get it out there that way.
Yeah, you would have to be on some sort of label or something.
Yeah.
For both of you guys, what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark that said, yep, that's what I want to do right there?
Me, it's like when I was hanging out with Joey, our guitar player, at his parents' house, and they were like, you sound like John Bonham. I was like, who's that? And I was a little kid, man. So we watched this video of Moby Dick, the legendary drum solo, and I was like, wow, that's what I want to do, man.
Yeah, I think for me, my dad's a huge influence. To give it, I grew up listening to Iron Maiden. It's like a religion in my household. My dad's got all the tattoos. My older brother's name is Eddie, so I mean, it's kind of gives it right there. And just watching Bruce Dickinson on stage, and now the way they've evolved with 3 guitarists, and I just saw them in Chicago last Thursday, and just in their 50s and 60s, and Janik's still flipping the guitar around, and just me as a kid watching the live DVDs and seeing them live and seeing Motorhead and just how they interact. It's just like, I want to do that.
Here's a cool question. I like to throw this in here because I like to have a little bit of fun on here. Get wild sometimes, Just kidding.
It was cool, man.
If you could work with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be, or what cover song would you guys like to do, possibly, that you guys can make 10 times better?
Ooh. Well, I don't know. We haven't. We're thinking about doing some Motley Crue songs, some Skid Row. But if you're asking personally, I'd want to work with Kurt Cobain, man. I just want to be like, hey, dude, I just want to lick his face. That's about it. What about you, Mike?
I think. I mean, the name of the band is called. They're from Canada, a grindcore band called Fuck the Facts. And just in terms of like heaviness level, it's extreme. And the lead singer is a girl. She brings this huge energy, and just from how she works with the band, like I've always wanted to. Even now, they're still together, and they just kind of put out stuff. And I would say I'd want to cover one of their songs, or like Converge. I love Converge, but make it in like an acoustic version, like a really soft down. Try to find the melody within such an extreme genre. Me personally, in terms of somebody to work with, I mean, like I was saying, Maiden, Bruce Dickinson said, hey, I would love to sing a song with you. I'd probably have a heart attack and turn into a huge fanboy.
I like Motley Crue, but anybody can turn their songs 10 times better now. And I hate to say this because Vince Neil his lyrics are just, he's hitting and missing. He's like, kind of feel good, but it's all right. It's like, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
or he looks like he's missing it too, I mean,
I feel like I want to run out there with an oxygen pack and put it around his, back and say, here you go.
Yeah.
Guys, how can folks stay in touch with you? Pick up this album or Kickstarter, Indigo. What are you guys going to do? How can they do this?
Well, we're undecided yet about a Kickstarter, but we're definitely going to offer, if people just subscribe to bedlemofficial.com, they go to, our website and they subscribe, they'll get up-to-date info on what we're going to do. Right now, we have plans to have people pre-order the album. So
yeah, and just incentive-based too. We're all kind of active on our accounts. For Bedlam for Facebook, Bedlam Official on Facebook, and when you go to Instagram and Twitter, just we kind of stay active, and we try to do as much as possible, not to oversaturate, but just to kind of keep the hype going, man. We all, like we said earlier, we really believe in Bedlam itself, so we want everybody to kind of have that same excitement that we have when it comes to social media.
Well, I have jammed out for the past couple weeks to Bereft, and I really dig it. I like your guys' style of music, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
I tell you what, would one of you guys care to do a promo for the show before I let you guys go?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Hey, this is Paul Wandtke from Bedlem. You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Kick ass.
Hey, this is Mike Petrasek, singer from Bedlam. You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us on, dude.